Hi and welcome. So in the 777-300ER by Pmdg and Microsoft Flight Simulator, we're going to do a flight from Ybbn to Nzaa. Let's get started. So we're just going to go over to the overhead and we're going to turn on the battery. I'm then going to turn on the APU to start and I'll click back. I'm going to click on the ADIRU. I'm going to click on the emergency lights. I'm going to turn on the 4 window heat buttons. I'm going to click on the IFE seats and the cabin utility button. Go down to here. I'm just going to change it to no smoking. Also turn on the beacon. Then I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to click on the right one to on for the hydraulic, and then back to auto. C2, C1. This one to auto, this one to auto, and also that one to auto. Then I'm going to change this to on, and on for all the fuel. I'm just going to go up to here, change this to start, and also this to start. Go all the way down to the bottom. Cut off, right one, and then the left one. And then we have the cold and dark start complete. We're just waiting for the FMC to start up. But we are done as far as starting up the engine. So what we'll do is we will open up our windows. So we can go over to the very far right. We'll get rid of the clipboard, click that, and then we'll also click this to open up the window. And then we're going over to this one, open the clipboard, click that, and then click this to open up the window. So now we've got the windows open. You can hide this by clicking down here, so you can get rid of the tablet. Click down there and you can get rid of the tablet, and you'll notice with my one you can get rid of the tablet down there as well, but when I click on the Boeing 777 I've got no hand, so I've removed the hand. If you'd like to do that and get rid of the hand on the tablet, you can find that on flightsim.2 or look in the description of the video. So we've got our FMC up now. We'll just quickly go up here and I'll click on request start from sim brief, and then I'm done with that. I might have a little look at the APU. If we click on the electrics, we'll just keep that going in the background. We can see the APU started up. So what we'll do is we'll go over to here, FMC, we'll just clear that and then go pause init. Now we're going to click on the reference airport, which is Ybbn. Click that in there, and the gate is 75. So then we're going to click on the last position, put it into the inertial, click route, and then we go route request and click on sim brief, and then we've got a bunch of info there. So what we'll do is we'll select route, and it's requesting. Route request sent. Just got to wait because I believe we've still got to do the load part. So now we click the load. Now we're waiting for it to load. Looks like it's loaded it. And then we can click activate and then execute. So now that's entered, but we just got to put in our runway, so that's going to be 1R, and put that in there, and then also execute that because we know that information. Then we can click on this clear just to get rid of all that. We'll go back to that later. Perf init, go up to 0 fuel weight, and then we'll click it again, 237. You can sort of find that in your plan. You click here and then you can see your 0 fuel weight numbers. We've got 236 there, and you can see it's like 237. That's pretty much okay. We'll click on accept, and that looks all fine. We'll go into max altitude FL37. We'll click on thrust altitude. Just going to leave it on 2 and climb for me, but what I will do is I'll just enter in 1 degree higher than that number. Takeoff, I'm going to change it to 5 flaps, and then this CG, just left click once and then click again, it enters it. You've got a trim of 4, and we've got our VREF numbers. I don't really want to enter them yet because I'm going to be doing all this stuff. So I've got departures, going to click on next and click Scott free, and then I'm going to do 1R, so that's the departure route, and then I'll click on it again because I want to go back to arrivals, and with arrivals I want to set up BAS E to N, and then also an ILS 23L. So that's all good. Execute, and that's all entered. So alternate, I'll just have a look at the legs quickly. So we click on next, I'll just click on the BAS if, go back to the previous stage, click on that, execute, and now we've got a clean route there set up. So that's all fine. Just go back to departures if I can. Click on departures, and we had one. Scott is the active one, and then 1R. Yep, that's okay. Execute. And just check the arrival. BASI, and then ISLL. That's all fine. We go back to our legs. We can see our information is entered in there. That's looking okay. Great. So then we can click on VNav. We can see all that. FMC comms. So we can do these two things now. So uplink winds. We'll try that first. We'll click on load. Gotta wait. It's not very obvious what we've done very much. Click execute. And then click on legs. FMC cons, descent forecasts, and then we've also got to load this one in. And hopefully the insufficient fuel warning, which we can't see, will go away. Okay, so all of that's entered. Progression, next, next, and next. That's all fine. Got that entered for the moment. And that's all good. So that's pretty much this all entered as far as I can tell. I'll leave it on the progress page for the moment. This we don't need anymore, so we can just put that away. And we can close our windows. So we're just going to click up here. Sorry, if you click that, you'll lock it and then you can't move it anymore. So you click down here first. And we'll click on this one to start closing that one. Then once it's closed, we can click the lock. And then we can put that over there. And if you wanted to, you could bring this up. Put it here. And you can also put it up here. Can't see it in this light, but sometimes you need to move your view around a little bit so that you can see where the mark is on the window. But it's not very obvious in this one at this time of day. But yeah, you're clicking around about here. And what we can do is we can leave it on just a full screen so that we can see the route. You'll just follow us. That's somewhat helpful. We do have our window set up so we can look over the wings. So all of that's set up as well. Also 7 and 9 to look at the front of the wings. So all that's ready to go. We can do our pushback. Now there's quite a bit of difficulty with the pushback. At the moment, it seems to work at this airport for me. So we will try and use that. Click on home, ground operations, and just click remove shocks, and we're done with that operation. So flight bag, and we're back to there. Okay, so now we can do our pushback by talking to our friends, and we'll hopefully see it work. Tune ground, and then pushback. Let's see how we go. The chocks are gone. The engines are started. I do have it set on realistic if you're wondering with the brakes at the moment, but I'm not going to bother too much with that. It's off at the moment, the parking brake, so it should push back. I won't bother putting them on once we push back, that's all. While we're waiting, we can set this up. So all I really need to put in here is just some higher altitude. So 30,000 or something will do for the moment. I think it did mention 37 we could go up to. 36 will do. Heading is going to be 16. Which is the runway. We're not in that direction at the moment, but when we get onto the runway we will be. And then that's about all we need to set up there. We can turn on our 2 flight directors. And that's it. This down here, auto brake, we'll just set it to RTO. So auto brake is set to RTO. I don't know how this pushback's going, but probably a little bit further. We've got the just flight traffic mod, so that's how we've got the other aircraft here. That seems to be working. But what you could do is you could jump into your just flight and you could enter in the airport that you're going to go to. So in this case, Nzaa. And then just click outside that. Apparently you don't need to click confirm, but I'll just click confirm. But as long as you've got Nzaa in there, you're good. Not sure if we can turn it from here. We'll let him go a little bit further. And we won't show all of the cruise, so we will come back once we have got back from the cruise and we're doing the descent. So we're trying to show the part in between that in this video. And then I'll put the two bits together. But at the moment, we seem to be okay. Or actually, we could just record the whole thing. We'll see how we go. So anyway, the pushback's happening. We do want them to stop around about now. Yep, cool. And he should just drive away. That's fine. If you're wondering why I use that, if you go into like menu, FS actions and ground connections, ground operations, you'll see here pushback, but that's not operational. And you'll see in the forums they haven't made it operational. So there's no pushback with the plane. That's why I've had to use that. I don't have GSX Pro at this time, so I also have no experience with GSX Pro, so maybe that's something I need to look into getting with this, but that's obviously going to bring up a whole bunch of new things to have to learn about as well. There's all that ready to go. I don't think we've missed anything, so I think we can start taxiing out to the runway. Let's give ourselves just a little bit of throttle. Now one thing we're noticing here, window flight deck on the left is open for some reason. Now it's happy. Yep, and insufficient fuel. We might just look into that because that could be an issue. We're going to bring that back over to here. Have a little look at our fuel numbers. So click on menu, click on FS actions, click on fuel, and then we've only got 6% fuel. It's definitely an issue. There's no question. It's no longer a question. So just down here, when you're looking at it, you can see block fuel, and we need 31. You could put 32 in, that would be fine, but definitely you can't have 8,000. So we're going to put in something like 33. How about that? And so now we've got 22% fuel for this flight between Brisbane and Auckland. So that's 32. Ybbn to Nzaa. So that's solved. We should be able to put this back up here now when I work it out. I'm not sure why, but in this lighting, it's really not obvious. But usually you can see like a suction cup spot on the window, but in this lighting, it's not possible at the moment. So anyway, that's back to there. We can keep ourselves moving towards the runway. A plane going overhead there, you can see the shadow. Sometimes if you're not turning sharp enough, just tap the brakes and you'll find it'll turn around a little bit more. It's like that with some other flight sims as well. I actually think we need to go down this way. So I don't know how that's going to work out for us, but we will probably do that. Just move ourselves slowly over towards the runway. There's not a lot we need to do once we get there. We maybe have a quick last look over everything, but yeah, then we can pretty much move forward and go. I don't think I've got live traffic on, so we can see Brisbane off in the distance there. It's a morning flight. It's about 7:30 or 8 o'clock, I believe, in game time. just about okay. And there's one R there, so that's okay. We've got the right runway for what we want. Okay, so we'll just pause here for one moment. We'll have a quick look at our overhead. There's nothing that is coming up that seems to be problematic. We've got a beacon and a navigation lights on. All of this is off at the moment. Taxi, strobe, that's all off. Nothing there for me to worry about. If you wanted to, you could turn this voice recorder on. Okay, so we go back to the bottom, and we'll just have a little look down here. So the APU is running, doors are on auto, and auto brakes and RTO. There's nothing too unusual there. The only real thing is we can turn that APU off, so just click that, and we can save a little bit of fuel. So APU is being turned off, and it's on cooldown. That will eventually shut down. Okay, excellent. This is mostly ready to go. 36,000 feet. We might just have one last quick look at our legs to see what it was proposing to do. Can you see 39,000 mentioned there? So what we might do is we'll just change it to 1,000s, and then when it gives me the symbol, that one, we'll change it to 39,000, which is pretty high. Okay, so we'll start heading off towards the runway, feet are off the brakes, and we'll start spinning it around. What a cool livery this one is. They've done a brilliant job. And this is the real life flight of Air New Zealand as well. So there's a reason I'm using Air New Zealand, because they actually do this flight. So we're off on towards the runway. Turned it a little bit more than we need, but that's okay. So now we're just going to quickly brake, because I'm sure about one thing, and that is my flaps. So I'm just going to change my flaps to 5. Yep, flaps are on 5. And the checklist, well, I'll try and explain to you what you can do there if you ever have a warning. You can go over to here to checklist, and you go into the checklist screen, and you click pre-flight, and you click item override on all of it, and then you click on before start, item override, and then you click on before taxi, item override, and then you can click on before takeoff. And I don't think we've got checklist complete, we've got the flaps done. So just want to turn that speed brake off when it armed itself. Put this back to something more useful, like the gear, because that could be useful. And then we'll take off to have a quick look. I don't think we've disturbed anyone, luckily. And let's get going. So we're going to give it a little bit of throttle. It's about 50s, and then we're going to click this screw here. Just click that once. Auto throttle will engage, and then we just got to keep ourselves sort of straight on the runway. I haven't got the joystick anywhere near me, but I'll grab it. We're on the runway, we're fine. $130, $140, $150, $160. We'll just pull back. And we'll go to about that 10 degrees, 15 degrees, that's about that. And gear up. Looks pretty cool. There's our airport. And I just want to put the flaps up. And then I can turn on LNAV, VNAV, and autopilot. So hopefully that will engage. And we can see ourselves heading out towards this way, which seems to be okay. It's going that way. Speed is alright for the moment. Let's have a little look over here at our legs. So we're supposed to have 240. And next one is Ybbn. So yeah, that's alright. 230. We're supposed to be doing about 240. We're spinning around. And I think the rotation is on auto. We can see the port down there, and there's the airport for Brisbane International. And you can see Brisbane itself out in the distance there. There's the river, and there's the ocean. Pretty cool. So the plane's just going to follow this around. It's doing a pretty good job at that. So we'll try and just record the whole flight, because it's only the 4 hours. And people can just jump around the video to the end. Pretty cool. It's very much featuring Air New Zealand in this video. How steep is it trying to turn? Wow. So we'll jump over to here. It's on auto. And that's on 1,000, but this is the one which determines how much it can turn. So it's reckoning that it needs to turn quite a bit to make this. But anyway, we'll turn the passenger stuff off when we get out of this. I reckon we're pretty straight from here. Shouldn't be so crazy. So our speeds are 240, 250, and then we can get up to 320 and stuff. We're only supposed to be at 5,000, interestingly. Notice it's at 8,000 at the moment. And we've given it a hard limit of 39,000, so we'll let it just deal with the plan at the moment. VNav and LNav, auto throttle and autopilot's on. That one's also engaged. Both flight director switches were turned on. And of course we've got all these lovely buttons. So I'll click terrain, maybe we can see something. An island or something, I'm not sure. Yeah, you should. Here we go. You can see a little bit of green there. $250 at 8,000 it's holding. So that's cool. Looks very cool. Gear is all up. Closed, closed, closed. Matches what we can see. Jump over to this side. We can turn on these lights a little bit. Not that we need it, but we just turn it on. And also this one. And then the overhead stuff is up here, so we're just turning on this little switch. They've all been turned up a little bit. We can put in the dome light lightly, and it won't be dark in here at all. So now this has got seatbelts on anyway, and then the no smoking sign is on off. So that's okay. I might just switch them to auto for now. This doesn't work. I think if you click the switch, you would then need to change something else to see. But either way, it's not going to make much difference because it doesn't work. So cancel, recall, nothing comes up at all. So we had no errors. That's good. I'll just turn that off. Have another little look up here while we've got a chance. So the Idiru is on. If we go up a little bit further, you've got all this up here, but there's nothing that we really need to engage with up here. Unless you want to change the cargo temperature. And then, if you wanted to, we can have a look at the wing. There's the view from one of the wings. You can see the lovely beach down there. How cool is that? And then we can also look at this one. We can have a little look at the wing flex on this flight. We also have the view from the front. We definitely want the other one around about now because it's doing a turn. This one is the one we want. So it's climbing again. and we can see it going up now to 39,000 feet. Speed of 320. Nothing selected up there, so we can just leave it on autopilot for the moment. VNav, LNav, throttle. Everything looks okay. Brakes are okay. Here's our clock. You can have a digital clock. It just gets rid of this and then it puts it down here like a little number, and here. While we're waiting, we can go through all the menus. So if we go into Pmdg setup, you'll notice you've got some options. One is aircraft here. So we click on aircraft and then equipment. And these are all the pages of equipment. So page 1. Flight tablet you can actually get rid of. Pretty interesting. Company speed 300 knots. Some defaults. Instruments. I believe this is just this, or you can have 3 of them, or you can just have the single one. Doesn't make much difference. Maybe it's just easier to notice, because now you can got a big number, 320, so you're always sort of knowing what's going on, but it's not a big deal. And the clock I was talking about was this. Do you see how there's a number down here and here now, and there's nothing up here? It looks a bit cleaner. I'll leave it on digital. You can get rid of this. You can have it to no electronics instead, so it just changes to no electronics, or you can get rid of it completely. This is an unnecessary button, so you can just have it not installed. I'll just put it to no electronics. The tail skid, if you're looking for that, I'm not sure if we can see it, but you see the small little black bump? And so if you go in here and you click on tail skid to no, you'll notice that's gone, basically. So that's all that's doing, but I can notice. We'll leave it on. Wi-Fi, SATCOM, antennas, and so forth. I think some of this changes depending on your livery. So I've changed the livery, obviously, and you can see it's not on this one. But on some of the other ones, it does have it on there. I noticed. Flash test package, yes or no? No. I'm not sure if the auxiliary fuel equip would do anything. It'd be interesting how that would extend the range, if it's even an option on this 300ER. V1 call out, bank angles, approach minimums call, altitude call outs, terrain, water, and CN. I'm going to just say yes to that, and then change it back to map and just see if we've got terrain selected. Terrain is selected. There's the CN. So you know you're above water. Resettable siren, yes or no. AP disk warning. That's page 11. Crew alertness monitor. I'm still curious what that is exactly. Altitude approach oral, and then we click 12. Company cost index 85. Now, if you set this number to something else, how does that change what the company cost index is coming from SimBrief? Yeah, but it's not that different to what I have said anyway. I'm using 100. And that's all the pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Click return. and that's the aircraft, so that's equipment. And then we can go into displays. So I've got it onto kilograms and Celsius. The ground seat display is something I really need. Minimum runway length. And 7, door arming indication. This is one you can probably just turn off. Sometimes you'll see doors armed or whatever as a warning, but anyway, you notice I didn't have any warnings and it's all gone now. But there isn't a lot that we can do with that. Failures. So I've got it onto none. I need to explore this a little bit further because we want it to simulate not so much failures, but just like the wear. But I don't think that's part of this. If we went into fuel, you can have a random fuel problem, which is service based. Wonderful. So that's those pages, and then we can go into options for simulation. Got 8 pages of this. I changed the display unit's power up too fast. You may want to do that if you're using this plane all the time, but otherwise it's just 3.5 minutes. I'm realistic. Not a big deal. Yokes are normal or hidden? So that must just mean it's down, is it? If I click on normal, they pop up and then they're in the way. And then we just click it again, it just puts them down. So yeah, not a big deal. They can stay hidden forever. And then page 8. I have got the parking brake set to realistic. I've tried both. I haven't really got a big issue with either at the moment. But the main thing is, if you want to release the parking brake, you just have to push on these two. I don't know if you have to push both of them or just one, but I noticed it seemed to be just one. So if I push one just on my rudder pedals, it released. But there's that. But that's really the only thing I've noticed with the parking brake. So go into performance, and there's just 2 pages here. Terrain, sweep, divot colors, image size, image detail. Obviously these are things that the real plane wouldn't need. Colors. And then panel states, load. You've got all these options: approach, apron, climb, cold and dark. I did have it on cold and dark GPU, but I didn't use the GPU. I didn't use the ground power. That's all. So you would have noticed I just tried to do it without the ground power. But I think normally they use the ground power. Then you got cruise, final, hangar, runway, taxi. And that's the 2 pages. So that's most of the options there. EFIS control and then display control. These 2 I need to maybe understand. FS actions is all that. So you can go into fuel. You can see the fuel going down. We're at about 18% now. How heavy we are is also going down, obviously not because of the passengers, but because of the fuel. The load level is quite high. Notice that 100% on this. So we didn't change the payload. Doors. Cabin lights. Oh, this is interesting. So you can change. If you change it to off, you'll notice it's dark in the back, and you put it to full, it's lit up. Auto's fine. I don't know if you could get a frame rate increase by just putting it on manual and just leaving them all off. Maybe. But it's in there. Auto cruise. I'm never going to use this, so it might be good for some people, but probably not the experience I'm looking for. So click return to menu, and then Pmdg setup and actions. And that's everything I can look at mostly. Go back to the FMC, we can click progress. We're going to get to Nzaa with about 10,000 left. Top of the cruise and 61 nautical miles. So if we go over to here, we can do a little bit of zoom out. 60, 40, 80. Top of the cruise up here. And just before the next waypoint. No problem. And we can see ourselves on the map here. We haven't gone that far yet, just out to here. Got pretty good weather up here at the moment. So what is our altitude? We're at 31,000, still a long way to climb. Climbing at 304. Heading. Cruise altitude of 39,000 feet. Cruise altitude 39,000. Optimal recommended is 35,000. Interesting. The optimal would be 34,000. We're going up to 39. Well, anyway. We're going to get there at about 12. And it's what time? Here. It's about 10 o'clock. So yeah, that seems about right. Economic speed 0.823. Well, we haven't got up there yet, so. But we're at 823 right now. Just on our climb. We could tone it back if you wanted to, so it's not so high. But I'm happy to go up to 39,000. If we click engine out, what does that do? I don't believe I'm going to click on anything here. If you have an engine out, perhaps this is what you could go into. We don't need that. All engines. It is still climbing. What happens if we click LRC? And click erase. We're back to normal. Cool. I didn't really want to erase anything, so I was a bit hesitant to click erase there, but it looks like that was the best option. So 35,000. This hasn't been set. That's something you could do. Have a little look out a window. We've got our windows back. And you can enjoy the flight pretty much now. Let's change to the front of the engine view. And then the other engine view. Looks pretty okay. And so that's probably everything that we're going to do up till now. So we're just going to do the cruise, and then we'll come back as we're getting ready for the descent. We'll move between the views a little bit and just check the screens, but there probably won't be too much else going on for a little while. We could be looking at like alternates and stuff, but I'm pretty confident this plane is going to keep flying. So at this point, that is us up into the cruise. We haven't quite got up to the 39,000 yet, so stay with us until we are at the 39,000, but we are mostly there. We can see it marked on the pretty close. Just coming up to the 39,000 feet at the moment. And then it should level off. Quite high up. But the chips roll long enough to be able to do this. And we're pretty much leveled off now. So we will leave ourselves to the views as we travel along. Quite a while to go before we have our descent. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. And welcome back. So we'll be beginning to look at our descent now. We'll stop our view of the wings. We'll jump back into the cockpit. Have a little look at where we're at. So we've got UPLAR, which we can still be at 35,000 feet for. 2334, and I reckon we'll reach there about 2345 in about 10 minutes. We've got it set to 24,000 feet. We'll move into the next step very soon. So about 10 minutes away, 9 minutes away from starting to look at things. Auto brake is on 1. And I actually have got the reversers working at the moment. Not tested, but they're working. So I believe I can use them on this plane now. A last look over our cockpit. We'll just have a little look and see if there was any warning messages, but I don't think there was anything. Everything looks like it's okay up here. What we might do is we could put these on. The only thing is I don't really want the warnings down here. Passenger signs on. But anyway, we'll put them on. I can put a strobe on. Got 3 landing lights. Still a long way from that. I think that's the strobe. See how it's gone out at the back. So we'll leave that on. We've also got that one, and then we've got the one on the roof somewhere. There we are. So yeah, we're just a couple minutes away and we're going to begin now. What I'm a little bit disturbed by is I've got a lot of cloud down there, so I don't think we're going to have a very clear view. But we'll see how we go. 23:45, so we're about 5 minutes away. We really can start. Got this set to 24,000. We can get ourselves down to there. That'd be good. We don't want to do it too early. But if we have a little look at our map here, we're not far off now. It does seem realistic that we could drop there in between that distance. We don't need to rush. So we'll probably hit UPLAR and then we'll begin our descent. The big thing is managing the speed, because we don't want to overspeed, that sort of stuff. Just the other thing we want to look at is the speed. So 308 will come down to when it gets down there. 241. Got 24,000 entered. And we're expecting to get at 45, so about 4 minutes away. About 4 minutes away. We also have it written up here. It's everywhere, pretty much. Also here. So yeah, in just a few minutes we'll hit that UPLAR and then we'll begin this descent. We need to get it down at that point to 24,000. Just a few minutes away. $35,000 feet, and we're just a couple minutes away now. 83, 34. 8 nautical miles. 7. One thing we didn't do when we were taking off was setting this takeoff trim, but it's usually around this 4 or 5 area, depending on the weight. We didn't have to set the transponder because it was already on transmit receive. But if you're doing the procedure, you would have turned it to standby and then had to go back to transmit receive, but we just left it so it's ready to go. Which I think is good for a simulation setting as default. It does make it a lot easier for everyone. Just bring us back to that original view over here. Alright, so it should have switched over around about now. Massive, we've got it. So that's the new destination. We have a top of descent and so forth. So we're going to go into the VNav, page 2 to page 3 and hit descend now. Execute. Let's see what happens. We've got this at 24,000. We can see it's beginning to drop. So things will get to 24,000 about there. We'll be traveling along in these clouds a little bit, probably. The hard limit then is 24,000, so it won't go further than that. That's what we're expecting. But we've got heaps of time, so we don't have to put any flaps out or brakes or anything. Got heaps of time. You could basically settle this down and push it out. $32,000. So we're getting to passive at 12, basically, which isn't really that long away. We've got 10 minutes. 1 minute past. And then it's only about 16 minutes from there down towards Nzaa. So things will start moving quite quickly over the next half an hour. This is certainly coming towards the last 30 minutes of the flight now. Just holding that speed. So we're in the 308, and I just want to now check the legs page 308, and then down to 251 when we get to Park. So we don't have to slow down so much at the moment, just drop an altitude. Seems like I had calculated pretty good how we wanted to go that top of descent, but we'll just bring it around just that touch early. It's not that much quicker. We did bring it up to 39,000 feet. Now we're just slowly coming down. Now down at 29,000 feet. So that's how long it's taken us to get that 10,000 down. Just a little bit further to go. Everything seems to be holding up pretty good. There's no errors anywhere. We're telling the passengers to seat down at the moment, but just so we don't have that warning, I'm just going to put it back to auto. You're 1 minute past, about 8 minutes away. It's really not getting down too early. It's only a few minutes. The bigger question is, can we get from that 24,000 down to 8,000? That's quite a big jump. So what we could do is keep bringing it down if we wanted. Or just give us a little bit of a head start on getting that dropped. Keep watching it, but we might change this to 8,000. It's looking like it's clearing up because it sure wasn't too good back there, which is really good news for us because we want to be able to see what's around us. So we might be lucky on this approach. 67 nautical miles to passive. It's rapidly coming down. 2 minutes past. We didn't gain too much speed going down either. We've really had no issues descending in this plane, interestingly. Yeah, so 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes. We're ahead by about 7 minutes. and then we need 8,000. So we change that to 8. So as it hits, it should just keep going. It'll give us a little bit of a head start. And do you see that? It's not even quick enough to get down to 8. And 251. That's 251 answered. Have a little look at my map. What one is that there? That's that passive, and then we've got the pack V, so we still got a little way. Actually, we'll do a flat change. See how quickly it wants to take us down. It's getting that speed down. We've got our speed under control. We haven't got our altitude under control yet. We definitely want to take advantage of any minutes we have available to keep pushing down. Okay, so now it's got the speed under control, it's going to start dropping. We'll have a look at that green line. It's coming in a lot. But that gets us down to 8,000 somewhere in between. So that's not too problematic. And we've got our speed 251 to 8,000. Hard to believe we haven't hit the passive yet, but we haven't. That looks much better. I'm happy to descend just that little bit earlier. Very clear skies, so we can for the first time see land after quite a long time. We have land. And there is New Zealand. And we're now under 20,000. We hit escape, and now we are having a problem. I'm going to refresh that command. It looks like it's back on track. We've got a problem with our speed, 251, suddenly now just increasing for reasons no one knows. So this has gone up for some reason. That's what's happened. What was the next speed? 240. So if we put it to 240, that'll at least prepare us. We're still not at passive, so gosh. Just about to hit that now. 3 minutes past, and yeah. And the legs page should change. Pack fee. Pack fee it is. Plane's turning just slightly. And then it should start that descent again. I'm a lot happier trying to get down from 17,000 than trying to get down from 24,000, because that's really what we were facing before. We're already at the target speed, so it should be 251, but we're at 240 for the next one bays. 170. It's looking just okay. Cool to have this up. How much better is it without the hands? That's just, yeah, it's much better. I don't know what they were thinking, but 14,000. Of course, our target is 8,000 at the moment. And then very quickly, we can get from 8 to 7, that's no problem. I do wonder if we take it off flight level change, put it on VNAV at the moment, will it keep descending? Even quicker. So we've got it at 8,000. It should stop at 8 though. So much great scenery, and all we're doing is looking at the screens. Some awesome scenery out there. So around about 10,000 now. And we need 8, so that's not too problematic. We'll just keep turning this down. Almost at our target speed, then it will start descending again. We'll just have a little look at the profile once it has that speed. We'll see the green bar, and we're just looking to see where it comes up. But yeah, it still looks okay. don't know if it's feasible to zoom in any more than that. Is it functional? No, not really. That'll probably be the last zoom for us then, for a while. Have a little look at our scenery. We're on track to hit 8,000 now, so it should level out there. Cabin ready. Auto brake 1. So we're targeting the 4,000 now. We're on track to head down. We haven't had to do anything crazy. No flaps out, no speed brakes. So nothing too crazy. We've got reasonably clear weather. We should be able to see the runway. There's a bit of low cloud though. So we'll just see how this impacts things. Let's put on flaps 1. And I think you can do something called arming speed brakes. So I'll try that. It sits in that position. Speed brake armed. The other thing we need to do is just look at our speeds. Don't know if we can bring it down to 170 or 210. 210 will do. Yeah, it's pretty close to 4,000. That's alright. And then the 3,000 we can target. We can probably change that to the 3. We've got that 210. Flaps 20. And then gear down. And then what I would like to do is just give us the full flaps. And we want that speed of 170 now. We haven't made the final turn yet. Speed's coming down, altitude's coming down. A little bit high, very high. Boreas, so yeah, MRAG we wanted 3,000. We are high. Okay. My problem here is possibly that. So it's going to chase it. But we look okay. So here's the runway up there. We are fully configured with the runway down and everything else. We've got good weather, so we can see what's ahead of us, and we don't need this at all anymore. In fact, we'll put that away. Run full flaps. You could basically turn it off here and just take over now. And we're on the ground. The reverses are not working, despite me testing them extensively before. So we'll just turn this to off. I'm going to run into all this traffic, but anyway. The other option would have asked to do a turn down here. I don't think this thing can do a turn in that area. So we're gonna go through everyone. It's just AI, so we're not messing up any humans, I believe. And then, that's a lot of traffic it's given me. I'm happy there is traffic there, but... So the lesson here was normally I would just click the AP button, but I think I decided to click the AP on this one, and it hasn't worked out. So if we put the flaps back up, we get our throttle back, and then the auto throttle is turned off. Auto throttle disengaged. Looks like they can continue on. So we'll find somewhere to park. So normally I would just click the AP button, and I found that worked, and then my reversers worked and everything went. If I go and put the reversers on now, I'm just curious. Not really activating. So I was a bit spun out because I could not work that out either. Despite testing it extensively, the button. So auto throttle reverse, or reverse hold, or whatever it's called, hold throttle reverse. That's set to a button, and then you just bring the throttle back to idle, and then push it forward, and it normally will bring that. But that didn't activate at all then. So that was something I was wanting to test on this flight, but does give us a reason to go up again and fly. But the actual route we just did seems to work. Like, that's all quite okay to fly with the route. We just have to get the button we click right. Don't click this, just click that. Seemingly. Our ground speed at the moment is 2. So hopefully that's not too fast for everyone. Seven 777 has come up now. Let's have a little look where we're on. We're on the line, not too bad. $13 it says. Don't think I've got anything else to look at now, just that guide. 1.4 meters to go. 0.86 stop. And we are done. We'll put that on. And we're at the airport. We'll see if we can attach the jetway. We'll go over here, we'll bring out our tablet. One thing I just want to have a look at is our fuel. What did we arrive with fuel? So we'll have a little look at the fuel. Total fuel left 2.4, and we can also click on fuel here. So that's the fuel stats that we got at the end of this flight. 7% left of fuel. And 10.4. So yeah, just something to look at all the way, including the taxi. We can put that up here. And then we just want to get our door open. Now I'm just curious, which one is it intended to attach to? Because I've seen some of them, they connect to this, but I think it's actually going to attach to the front this time. So that's an interesting thing indeed. So that means we can go to ground operations, we can put the chocks on, and then I don't know if you can do dual jetway plugs. I don't think we have that on this one. I don't think they have the capability to do that to my plane on this one. So we just need to look at our doors, and we're looking at the very front left, disarm and then open. And we can see that's opening. So now we'll just contact, because I found if I didn't do it this way, it wasn't doing anything. And jetway, but this does work, if it's going to work. It's the wrong door. It is the wrong door. Disarm, open, close. There you go. So it's still doing that door. I've never actually seen it connect to the front one now. Perfect. So yeah, and then we can disarm that one. That's all good. And then if we jump through the cockpit, we'll go and open our door. And we can see this is not open. Everyone got off very quickly. We didn't have any passengers on this flight. So yeah, there's your door open. And you'll notice the light down here is black and black. Cool. I think if we just jump quickly to the front, yeah, that'll be a lot better. So now we can shut down if we want to shut down, but I don't know if we can put ground power on. Probably not, unless we went to ground ops. Let that run. And you could open your door windows. APU is on. So that's us back at Nzaa with the jetway connected, and we are safely on the ground with the trucks on and the parking brake. We've got the engines off and we're just running on the APU. That was a fun flight. We might do it again, and we also call it the first step of our around the world trip. So this is a real world flight that in New Zealand have done apparently in this exact plane. So yeah, that was really fun. A few things more to work out, but this was only one day after release date, but this video was recorded, so lots more to do. We hope you enjoyed the flight and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.